Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In the previous video, we have completed my upload part of this project. If you have not seen that video, just go to the description and check out the link. In this video, we are going to work on music player part. So whenever you click on this particular one, song, so it will open a music player at the bottom and you can play the song. So that part we are going to cover in this video. So let's go to the VS Code, and inside this one we have services inside the code folder, and in this one earlier we have created a service which is music player service. So get inside this one, and here just after this import and before injectable, here we have to just create one repeat mode. So there's a three different repeats modes are there, which is off, all and one. So I'm just going to write that type and repeat mode and off, all and 1. So these are the three repeat modes are there, and after that we have to get inside this particular service, and here we have to import private auth http service, and here we have to inject. So we have to import this from the Angular core, and after that auth http service, this one we need to import, and then private audio, and it should be HTML audio element. This one we need to import, and then multiple behavior subjects, all those things we have to write here, create the variables for it. So current song subject, and then new behavior subject, and this one can be song. This one we need to import this model, or it could be null, and close this, and by default the value will be null over here. And after that private is playing subject, and new subject, and boolean, and by default it is set as false. Private current time subject, new subject, and then number and 0 we have to pass over here, and then private and duration subject, and new behavior subject, and number 0, and private volume subject, and new subject, and then number, and by default it will be set as 1, and then private current blob or image. So current blob URL, and it could be of a string type or it could be null, and by default we are going to set as null. Okay, and after that we also need to manage the queue, right? Like there's a multiple songs will be there, but in our this particular my uploads, right, this particular place we are not going to maintain the queues and all. So user going to click on this song, so he's only able to hear this particular song, but other places, like let's say on the playlist or at home page, whenever user click on it, it will be a like queue will be there, but still we are going to implement and write the code related to that over here. So private queue subject is equals to new behavior subject, and inside this one it will be a song type, that and it should be of array type, and by default it will be just blank, and then private current index subject, new, and behavior subject, and it should be of a number, and by default -1. Okay, after that we also need to manage like shuffle or repeat management, right? So for that also we have to create few more. So private is shuffle, subject, new behavior subject, and it should be a boolean type, and it should be a false by default. And after that, private repeat mode subject, new behavior subject, and repeat mode. Here we have to pass, and by default it is set to the off mode. So here we have to just set to the off mode, and private original queue we have to maintain, and it should be of song type array, and by default it is like this. And then also we have to manage it for the extended prayer. So private is expanded subject equals to new behavior subjects boolean, and then we have to pass as false. Now here we have to write like public current song, and then dollar, and then equals this dot current song subject. So this one we have to select dot as observable, put semicolon, and then public and is playing, and then again dollar this is playing subject dot as observable. So multiple we have to create by current time, all the like in the top we have created, right? For those we have to create it over here. So public current time dollar, and this dot current time subject as observable. So let me do one thing, let me copy paste from here, like let's do one thing over here, paste it over here, and this is the after this current time, the next one is duration, and here this is the duration subject, so duration subject, and this one after duration, this is for volume, so volume, and this is a volume subject, and after this one the next one is queue, and here we have to change this to queue subject, and again we are going to paste the 3 more lines over here. Let me format this one, and after queue the current index, and here also we have to change this to current index subject, and after the current index the next one will be is shuffle, and here also we have to change this to is shuffle subject, and after that here we have to change this to is repeat or just a repeat mode, so repeat mode, and here also we have to change to repeat mode subject, and the last one we have to which we have to create over here, which is, let me copy this one, paste it over here, and this is like is expanded, and here we have to just change is that is expanded subject over here. Let me format this one. Now after that we have to create a constructor, and inside this one like you are getting the error, right? But because we are not using it, so let's make it as use it, so that error should gone, and new audio over here, this one, and for this we don't have to import anything. You can see here we don't have any import, so we don't have to worry about it. So this, after that, this dot audio dot volume is equals to 1, and this dot audio dot preload equals to meta data, this one we have to pass, and then update the current time, right? Whatever the time or duration, so all those we have to add a event listeners for this. So let's do that. So this dot audio dot add event listener, and over here time update comma and then parenthesis and curly brackets, and this dot current time subject this one dot next, and in this one this dot audio dot current time we have to just pass. Just put a semicolon at the over here. You can also add it, and this is related to the listener of time update. Same way we have to also add it for few more. So I'm just going to copy paste this method 4 more times. So here 1, 2, 3 and 4. Let me format this, and here the audio add listener which is correct, and here we are going to write here load metadata. This one we have to pass, and here we have to change this to duration subject. So duration subject this one, and here we have to just change this to duration. Other things will be remain same, and after that the next one which is ended this one, and here we have to just change is to that is playing subject, and we have to just set this one whenever it ends we have to set as false, and we also need to call a method to handle that handle song end. So let's create a method over here, handle song end, and that method we are going to just call after this one set to the false. So handle this one, and after that handle play. So the next one is to like play handle we are going to do, and this dot here we have to going to set it this dot playing subject is set to just set to true, and after that whenever like pause, right? So just change pause over here, and is playing, it will be is playing subject, and in this one we have to just make it as false. So our constructor logic is also completed. Now save this. We don't have any error as of now. Now we have to write the logic related to the play the song. So let's write that. So just after the constructor we are going to write async play song, and we have to pass the song whatever we want to play, and song this one object, and update queue, and it should be a boolean type, and this one is set as true, and okay we are getting some kind of okay we don't have curly brackets, so don't worry about it for now. Promise, and it will return promise but it will return white, and then put curly brackets and error is gone. Now const is same song, and here we are going to check this dot current song subject and dot value question mark id, and then we are going to check song id from here. Okay, it's throwing some kind of error, maybe optional. Okay, let's make it as 3 equals, sorry. So we are just checking like this, and if is same song, and if that is same song, that we are just going to pause that song. So for that basically we are going to write the logic. So this dot audio dot paused this one, and this dot pause, okay no pause. Okay, so we also need to create some method which is related to the play or pause the song. So let's do that first. Let's scroll down a little bit, and over here I'm going to create a method which is play method, and it will not gonna return anything which is void. And if this dot audio dot src, and then curly brackets, and this dot audio dot play, and if any errors occur, the catch that, and error, and console dot error, and error, just print that error in console, error playing audio, and comma, error over here, and put semicolon. And after this play, the next method which is pause, so pause over here, and this will also not going to return anything which is void. And this dot audio dot pause, this is the method we have to call. And after that also we need to like write the method related to stop. So stop, we already have that, right? So just move this is little bit up over here. And in this one we are going to write the logic related to stop any song. Okay, so here this dot audio dot pause, and this dot audio dot current time is equals to 0, and this dot current song subject, and current subject dot next is null, and this dot is playing subject dot next equals to false, and this dot current time subject, and dot next set to 0, and this dot duration subject dot next we are going to set as 0, and this dot q subject and dot next set as like this blank, and then this dot current index subject like dot next, and this is -1, and this dot is shuffle subject dot next set as false, and this dot repeat mode subject dot next, and which is set as false off, and this dot origin q is going to be set as blank. And then we also need to do the cleanup activity related to blob url if exists. So let's add here this dot current blob url, and url dot revoke, sorry, url dot revoke objects url, this one, and in this one this dot current object url we have to pass, and this dot current blob url is equals to null. And then we also need to clear the audio source, so this dot audio dot src source is just putting as a like this, just clearing it up. And just scroll back to this particular method which is in the play song, and in this one we are again going to write the logic related to it. So basically whenever same song is playing, right, in that case we are just going to pause that song. So for that we have this logic, and then we have else if, and in else if we are going to write here is same song is paused, then we have to just resume that, and this dot audio is paused. In that case we have to just call this dot play song, and other than else condition we have to write here, and like whenever let's say load the new songs and those things we have to do it, right? So this dot current subject, song subject dot next, and then we are going to set the song name to this. And if here update queue, this one, and in this case basically if this is a single song, then we are just going to play or create a queue for one, or it will go as it is otherwise. Const queue, and this dot queue subject dot value, and const index in queue, and queue dot find index, and then song s dot id is equals to song dot id. Over here we are going to find it out, and if song is already in the queue, just update the index we are going to do. So index in the queue is greater than equals to 0. So this dot current index subject dot next, and here we're going to pass the index in queue, and in else condition uh, we are going to just pass this dot queue subject dot next, and in this one we are going to just pass the song, and over here this dot current index subject dot next is set to 0. Okay, and so this is related to the update queue, and outside of this update queue, right, and inside the else condition, we have to also write the logics to like load the music, right? So outside of this one, over here we have to write here try and catch, and inside this catch, right, this dot current subject song subject, whenever it is occur, dot next we are going to set as null, and this dot is playing subject dot next, here we have to set as false. So let's save this so that you can see that okay, error is gone. We don't have any error as of now. And in this one basically we also need to, in the try block, right, we have to also need to write the logic later to load the audio from basically URL. So for that we don't have any method, so let's do one thing. Let's create a method over here first. So private async and load audio from URL, and and we are going to pass the string. This will be a string type, and this will be a promise and void, and over here we are going to clean up the blob URL. Basically all those things we'll do. Before that, writing the logic inside this one, let's complete this part. Inside the try block I'm going to write here await this dot load from URL, and then song dot song URL, this one, and put semicolon, and then this dot play method we have to call over here and put semicolon. So our the method related to play song is completed. Now we have to go to the load audio from URL method. Now we have to write the logic inside this one. So over here we have to write if this dot current blob URL dot revoke URL subject, and this dot current blob URL, and this dot current blob URL is equals to null. And after this if condition, const blob equals to await, and this dot auth http service dot fetch blob, and then we have to just pass the URL over here, and then const and blob URL is equals to URL dot create object URL, and then we have to pass the blob. Okay, and then this dot current blob URL is equals to blob URL, this one, and this dot audio src is equals to blob, this one, blob URL we have to just pass over here. Now here we have to return new promise and it will resolve or it gonna reject. So here after this, here we have to put curly brackets, and inside this one we have to create some const on can play equals, and then here this dot audio dot remove from event listener, and in this one we have to pass can play, and over here on can play, and after that we have to create const on error. It will be similar like above method, and inside this one also the curly bracket, and the same line whatever you see over here, right, this will be repeat over here also. And in this one I'm also going to copy paste the same line, and I'm just going to change over here, which is error, and over here I'm going to change this to on error, and after that here we are going to just write here resolve, and I'm just going to copy paste this particular line or this place, and over here I'm going to just reject, like if any error occur, so new error, and inside this one we have to just pass the message, so failed to load audio, and then put semicolon, and after this outside of this on error, right, this one here we have to just write this dot audio dot add event listener, and can play and comma on can play, and in the same way we have to just copy paste this line of the code over here again, and here we have to just change this to on error, here on error, and after that here this dot audio dot load we have to call, and then put semicolon. So our method related to load audio from URL is also completed, which is a private method. Now we have to scroll down and we have to go after this stop method. So scroll down, and here we have to create few more methods. So just here write toggle play pause. So it will change it from pause to play and play to pause. So if this dot audio dot paused, and then we have to call this dot play method, else we have to call this dot pause method, and outside of this one next method we have to create, which is seek to method, and inside this one I am expecting time, and it should be of a number time or number type, and this dot audio dot current time is equals to time, and after this method the next method is to set volume, and inside this one also I'm expecting volume, and it should be also a number type, and inside this one this dot audio dot volume, and whatever the volume we are going to get it, just pass it, and this dot volume subject dot next, and in this one volume we have to pass and put semicolon, and after that here we have to pass the get current song, and here we have to just it will return either song or it going to just return null, and here return this dot current song subject dot value, and after this method this dot playing, and it should return a boolean type, so I'm just making it as boolean, and return this dot is playing subject over here and dot value, and after that also we need to manage the queue, right, so we also need to create few methods, so set queue, and inside this one songs and song type of array comma and start index and number is equals to 0, and void, and this dot queue subject dot next and songs, and this dot current index subject dot next, and in this one start index we have to pass, and if songs dot length is greater than 0 and start index is greater than equals to 0 and start index is less than songs dot length, and then this dot play songs method we are going to pass, and songs, and then we have to just pass the start index, and then we have to pass this is as false. Okay, so in this way basically we are going to set the song, and after that we have to write the logics related to handle the song in, right? So this is the method we have already created it. So inside this one we are going to write the logic now. So const repeat mode is equals to this dot repeat mode subject dot value, and if repeat mode is equals to 1, then simply we are going to like this dot seek to 0, and this dot play the song, and else if condition we are going to check repeated mode is equals to all, and here const q is equals to this dot q subject dot value, and const current index is equals to this dot current index subject dot value. Okay, and after that inside this one we have to add if condition, if index current index is less than q dot length minus 1, then we have to call a method to play the next song or play next. So I'm just going to create a method outside of this particular one, like play next, and here I'm going to call that particular method which is this dot play next one, this method, and over here else, and this dot current index subject dot next, over here 0, and this dot play song, and here q 0, and here we have to just pass as a false value, and outside of this particular else if condition, right? So else if condition closed over here, and over here we have to just else, and over here this dot play next method we have to call over here, and so our handle song end is part is also completed. Now we have to write the logic related to play next. So const q, and this dot q subject dot value, and const current index is equals to this dot current index subject dot value, and if q dot length is greater than 0 and current index is less than q dot length or minus and minus 1, in that case we have to just set next index for this one, next index equals to current index plus 1, and this dot current index subject we are going to set which is next index, and this dot play song. So we have to pass the q index, next index, and we have to just pass here false. And now we also need to write the code to previous or previous play previous one method. So just format this, copy paste this particular method, and here just changes to previous or play previous. You can write here play previous, and this line will be remain same, and this one will be also same. And in this one q dot length, this one is correct, and over here we have to just change this particular part, and it should be less than 0. Yeah, no, sorry, greater than 0. And inside this one here we have to just change previous index, so previous index and current index -1 here we have to do. And over here we have to just pass the previous index, and in this one also we have to just pass the previous index. So now our play previous method is also ready. Now let's create a next method, which is hash next, and it should be of a boolean type, const q this dot q subject dot value, and const current index is equals to this dot repeated mode subject dot value. And if repeat mode, here repeat, okay, here we also need to create one more variable, which is const repeat mode is equals to this dot okay, it should be, okay, my bad, here we have to pass the current subject index, this one, and over here we have to pass the repeat mode subject dot value. And now we have to use this one, repeat mode is equals to all, and q dot length is greater than 0. Then we have to return true, and in else condition return q dot length greater than 0 and current index is less than q dot length -1. Save this. So last index part is also completed. Now we have to write later to hash previous, and it should be of a boolean type, and here const q, and this dot q subject dot value, and const current index is equals to this dot current index subject dot value, and then return q dot length and greater than 0 and current index is like this. So what this method will do is, whenever we have a previous and next button, right, so it will enable and disable on this particular condition basis, right? And after this method, the next method is to get q, and this will be of song, and return this dot q subject dot value, and after that next method is the current index, and which is of number type, and return this dot current index subject dot value. After that, here we have to create a method which is to shuffle the array. So here I'm going to create this is as a private method. So shuffle array, And this method is basically used inside like whenever we have an option, right? Toggle shuffle, like when we click on it, the order of the songs will be changed, right? And it will be random. So for that purpose we have this particular array method we are going to create. So it will accept array of songs and it will just shuffle on the basis of some order or way. After that, here current song, and it will be also song type, and it could be also null. Okay, and after that it will also return the songs array, and let's put a curly bracket. After that, this basically technique is known as Fisher-Yates shuffle algorithm. So we are going to use that const shuffled, and over here we are going to just copy that particular or to the array, and for let I is equals to shuffled dot length and minus 1 and semicolon I greater than 0 and I negative like we are decreasing it, and then const z is equals to math dot floor and then math dot random and then I plus 1, and over here we are going to just write shuffled I, then comma and shuffled z, and then we have equals and shuffled j comma and shuffled I. Here we have to pass and put semicolon, and after this we also need to move the current song to the front if it exists, right? So that we also need to do it. So if current song, then curly brackets, and over here const current index is equals to shuffled dot find index and then s dot id, and current index current song, basically current song dot id, and if current index is greater than 0 it means it exists, and then we have to shuffle. So const song equals to shuffled and dot splice and then current index comma 1 and then shuffled dot unshift and then song. We have to just pass it over here, and after this if condition, right, we also need to return it. So return and shuffle this one, we are going to just return this. Okay, so you can see the error is gone if I save this. So this is the method we are going to use it. So now here just before this one, and here we are going to create a method which is toggle shuffle, and in this one basically we are going to create few variables first. So const current shuffle, and this dot is shuffle subject dot value and const new shuffle and not symbol, and then current shuffle over here we have to pass, and then this dot is shuffle subject dot next, and then we have to pass this new shuffle in this one, and then const q and this dot q subject dot value we are going to fetch, and then const current song we are going to get it. So current song and this dot current songs this dot current song subject dot value, and after that if new subjects are there then we have to call that methods and do the operations, and if it is not, then we have to restore the original order. Okay, so here if new shuffle, then we have to write the logic, else we are going to just restore the previous one. So here first we're going to write related to else condition, and this dot original q dot length is greater than 0, and then we have to write the logic const dot current song and then index, and this dot original q dot find index, and then s dot id current song question mark dot id, put semicolon, and this dot q subject dot next, sorry, this dot original q, here we have to just pass that original q, and this dot current index subject dot next, and then current song index 0 question mark, and then current song index is 0. Over here we have to pass, and this dot current okay, this dot original q we have to just reset to default. Okay, now get back to the if condition, and in this if condition, this dot original q we are going to set with the values which is the q whatever we have right now, and then we are going to create a constant shuffled, and this dot shuffled array, and in this one basically we have to just pass that particular q, and then dot comma then current song, and this dot q subject dot next, and then shuffled, put semicolon, this dot current index subject dot next, we have to just pass the 0 and put semicolon. Save this. So our logic stated tutorials shuffle is completed. Now scroll down, and still we have to create few more methods over here. Is shuffle, and it should be of a boolean type, so we are going to return the boolean type. So return this dot is shuffle subject dot value, and here toggle repeat, and here const current mode is equals to this dot repeated mode dot subject dot value, and let new mode, and here we have to repeat mode. We already have this one, we have created the type at top. Okay, so if current mode is equals to off, this one, in that case new mode is equals to all, and else if current mode is equals to all, in that case new mode is equals to 1, and else condition, and new mode is equals to off. And after this if else condition, right, and inside the toggle repeat, here we have to write this dot repeat mode subject dot next, and in this one new mode we have to just pass over here and put semicolon, and after this here we have to just write get repeat mode, and over here repeat mode, and return this dot repeated mode subject dot value, and then toggle expanded, and this will be also going to return void. Okay, so basically this one is the methods, 2-3 methods we are going to write, which is related to extend player management. So we don't have to worry about it for now, and this will be not going to use in this video, might be able to use in the upcoming videos. Okay, so const that current expanded, and this dot is expand subject dot value, and this dot is expand subject over here dot next, and then here we have to put not and then current, and expand this one, so it will just trick and it will save the value, and then see set expand did, and here expanded, and here we have to pass as a boolean, and after that here this dot here is expanded subject dot next, and here expanded we have to, whatever we get we have to just set to it, and then we have to also expect that value to be returned, so expanded, and it should be of a boolean type, and return this dot is expanded subject dot value, then save this. We don't have any error, and also we want to implement the ng on destroy, so here first implements on destroy, this one we need to import, and then scroll back to the bottom, and after this we have to just write ng on destroy, and then error will be gone. And if this dot current blob url and url dot revoke this one, and this dot current blob url, this one we need to check, and then this dot current blob url is equals to null. Save this. So here I have noticed few issues in this particular code, whatever we have written. So just scroll up, and we have a method which is related to, I think, volume. So this is the volume one. So this one first we need to fix it. So if you see the character right, and here we have to just remove this n from this one. So volume, now it's correct. And if I scroll up little bit up above, and inside this particular load audio from URL, right? So if you see this new error, we have multiple this parenthesis, so just remove this extra parenthesis from here, and after that let's format this and save this. Now we are good, and we don't have any other issues inside this particular service. Now let's close this one. Now we have to generate a component which will be related to the music player. So let's go to the shared folder, right click on the shared folder and open integrated terminal, and then here we have to just write ng generate component music dash player, and then press enter. So it will create a component inside the shared folder, and it will also gonna register that particular component inside the app module. So if I go to the app module, I'm able to see the music player, and if I go to the shared folder, I'm able to see the music player over here. So it's working as expected. Now we have to go to the layout.html file, layout.html, and we have to scroll to the bottom over here, and here you can see we have a to do, right? So in the to do, basically we have to add that particular component which we have just created. So we have to get the selector from that particular component. So we have to go to the music player .ts file, and from here you can see the selector. I'm just going to copy paste this one, and let's get back to the layout, and over here I'm just going to paste this and close this one and save this. So in this way basically we have just registered that particular component which we have generated inside the layout, so that it can be used or it can work from anywhere or any pages or anywhere we are at. Okay, Now we also need to call this music player whenever we click on the button, right? On the from the my upload. So go to the myupload.ts file, and inside this one we have this play song, right? And inside this one we have a to do. So over here we have to just write this dot music player dot play song. This method we have to call, and inside this one we have to just pass the song and save this. So let's go over to the UI, and right now it's showing the music player worked over here, which is not correct, but as we have not implemented anything, so that's why it's showing at this particular place. So whenever we write related to the code after that or CSS, then it will fix. So we don't have to worry about this. Now we have to go to the music player.t. Now here current song, and it could be a song type or it could be null. So by default it will be set as null, and then is playing false, and song we have to import. So this is we have to import it from the song model, and then is playing, then current time is equals to 0, and then duration is equals to 0, and then volume is equals to 1, and use muted false, and previous volume is equals to 1, and hash next false, and hash previous false, and then is shuffle is also false, and then repeat mode, and then repeat mode, this one we need to import it from music player. So if you see, we have to import this one, and by default it is set as off, and then protected subscriptions, and subscription, this one we need to import this one, and equals, and then array. So multiple subscriptions will be there. RxGX we have to import it from here, and then scroll over here, then the constructor, and then protected, and music player service, and then we have to import this music player service, and then we have to implement here ng on in it. So basically we have to implement it over here. So implements on init, this one we need to import, and here now we have to write ng on it. Then here this dot subscriptions and dot push, here we are going to do, and then parenthesis, and then inside this one here we have to do the write multiple subscriptions related to it. So here this dot music player dot current song dot subscribe, and then we have to pass the song, we get the song and song curly bracket, and this dot current song is equals to song over here, put semicolon. In the same way we have to copy paste for the multiple others like playing, time, duration, volume. So let's do just copy paste of this one one by one, and this will be a comma separated. So I'm just going to copy paste this one once, twice, 3, 4, and 5. Let me decrease the size of this one, and over here let me format this. And after that music player, the next one is playing, and the subject, and over here we have to just change this to playing, and this one we have to change this to is playing, and then playing. And after that here we have to change this to current. Okay, we have 2 times the dollar symbol was added, so just remove once. And after that, here we have to add for the current time, and here we have to just change the time, and in this one we have to change the current or time over here also. And the next, which is for the duration, so here I'm just going to remove, and here we have to write durations, and duration and duration, and after duration, volume, and here we have to change this to volume. Okay, not this one, volume, and this one is needs to be changed to the volume, and here we have to just pass the volume. And after that, we also need to subscribe to the different queues, and on that basis we also need to call the different variables or update the values. So here after this one, let's remove this one, we don't need it as of now. So the next one is related to queue, so dot queue dot subscribe, and after that we have to update the navigated status. So just need to create a method outside of this ng on it. So here I'm going to create here, and this will be a private method, so I'm just going to make it as private, and update navigation state, and this will be not going to return anything, so void. Okay, and inside this one over here we have to just write this dot updated this one status and put semicolon. After that, the next one is related to current index, so just paste it over here. Let me format this, and over here we have to just write a current index, and then also we have to call this update navigate status, and after that we have to write the code related to the shuffle. So I'm just going to copy paste any of this volume one from here and paste it over here. Let me format this, and over here we have to just remove this volume, and here we have to just write is shuffle, and here we have to just change shuffle, and in this place this is shuffle, and here we have to just pass the shuffle. And after that, let me copy paste this one and paste it over here again, and this one is basically for related to update hash next or repeat mode change. So for that basically we have this one last one, which is repeat mode, and here we have to just write a mode, and there is a repeat mode, and there are also mode we have to change. And in this one, this dot update navigate station state, we also need to call this particular method and then save this. So our changes related ng on it is completed. Now we have to scroll down, and in this one we have to write the logic. So this dot hash next is equals to this dot music player dot hash next method we have to call, and this dot hash previous method is equals to this dot music player dot hash previous method we have to call, put semicolon. And then we also need to write the logic stated to unsubscribe or destroy, right? So here we have to just change on destroy, and then scroll down, and over here we have to just write ng on destroy, and this dot subscriptions dot for each, and here subscriptions you can see, and sub dot unsubscribe we have to call. So it will unsubscribe whenever we moved out of this page, or it will be destroyed from the DOM. Okay, and then here we have to create multiple methods. So let's write one by one related to the escape, like play next, play previous, on seek, on progress click, and all those methods we are going to create it one by one here. So toggle, play, pause. So this is the method we have to create, and over here this dot music player dot toggle play pause method we have to call, and after that skip, next, and this dot music player dot play next, this one, and skip previous, this dot music player dot play previous, and then play next, this dot music player dot play next, and play previous, this dot music player dot play previous, and on seek event of type any, and then const time and parse float point, and then event dot target dot value, and then this dot music player dot seek to, and then we are going to pass the time where it need to be sent. Okay, and after on seek, the next method which is related to the on progress click. So on progress click, and it should be a event, and this will be a mouse event type, and const target, and event dot target as HTML elements, and then if target dot tag name dot to lowercase, to lowercase, and if it is a input, right, input, in that case we are going to return, or else we are going to write here progress bar equals to event dot current target as HTML element, and then const react progress bar dot get bounding client, this one, and put semicolon, after that const click x equals to event dot click x, and then dot left, and put semicolon, and then const width, and we have to just pass the width, and then const percentage is equals to click x divided by width, and then const time is equals to percentage into duration, into this dot duration, and if time is greater than equals to 0 and time is less than equals to this dot duration, then this dot music player dot seek to whatever the time we have to just pass it. After that, on volume change, we have to write the logic. So on volume change, then event of any type and here const volume and parse float, and then event dot target dot value, and this dot music player dot set volume, and here we have to just pass the volume. And if volume is equals to 0, in that means that this dot is muted is set to true, or else here this dot is muted is false, and this dot previous volume is equals to whatever the volume we have to just pass it. And on volume click, then we also need to write the logics, and so on volume click, and inside this one event, and it is also a mouse event, and like initial few lines will be same, so I'm just going to copy paste this line of the code from here from on progress click. I'm going to paste it over here. Let me format this. So the target event dot html event target dot tag name lowercase input, and it will return. After this, here const volume bar, and then event dot current target. Okay, so this is also similar to whatever we have at the over here we have written, but it looks like most of the logics will be same. So I'm just going to copy paste till percentage part, this particular part, and we will also revalidate that, like we don't have to change any name or anything. So let's paste it over here. Let me format this, and first thing we have to change it over here, which is volume bar and event.current as HTML. So this one is correct, and over here we have to just pass this one volume bar, and this one is also correct. Click X event.client X, and this one React, and width, this one is correct, and then percentage X width, this one is also correct. Now here const volume equals to math dot max, and here we have to just pass 0 comma math dot min, and 1 comma percentage we have to just pass, put semicolon, and this dot music player dot set volume, and we have to just pass the volume over here. And if volume is equals to 0, and okay, so this logics will be remain common of this particular part if else condition. So just copy from here and paste it over here. Let me format this. So after this, set the volume, then you have to verify that okay, volume is 0. If it is 0, just make it as mute as true, else it is false, and previous volume we are just going to pass this particular one. Okay, so on volume click, this one method is ready. Now let's next method, which is to toggle mute. So toggle mute method, and here if this dot is muted or this dot volume is equals to 0, it means that it is muted, and const volume volume 2 restore, then this dot previous volume is greater than 0, or this dot previous volume just pass 0.5, and this dot music player dot set volume, here volume, okay, so volume to restore, this one you have to just pass, and this dot is muted is set to false, and else condition, and this dot previous volume is equals to this dot volume, and this dot music services dot set volume to 0, and this dot is muted is equals to true. And after that, toggle shuffle, and this dot music player dot toggle shuffle, and after this one, toggle repeat, and this dot music player service dot toggle repeat. This method we have to call, and then after this we have to write the logics related to like get repeat icon. So get icon, and this will just return the string type, and over here if this dot this dot repeat mode is equals to 1, then we are going to return repeat underscore 1, or otherwise we are going to return repeat, put semicolon, and after that here we also going to write related to expand player. So expand player, and if this dot current song exists, then this dot music player dot toggle expand. This method we have to just call, and after that we also need to format the time, right? So whatever the way we are going to show to the user, which is so format time, and then we are going to pass the seconds, and it should be of a number type, and while it will return the string type to the user. If not seconds and not is an, and then we have to pass the seconds over here, then return here 0 and 0 like this, else const minutes is equals to math dot floor and seconds slash 60, and const seconds math dot floor, and here seconds percentage 60, and then we have to just return. Okay, and here we have to put backtick and then dollar and curly bracket and minute basically, and after that colon and then dollar, and it should be seconds and dot to string type. We are going to make it as a string type dot pad start, and at 2 comma and 0 we have to pass, and then put semicolon at the end. After this format time, the next one is get progress, and it should return a number. So if this dot duration is not there, then return 0, and otherwise return this dot current time slash this dot duration and into 100, put semicolon over here, and after that get volume percentage, and it should also return a number type, and return this dot volume is into and 100. And on progress change, right, we have to also call the method. So all progress change event, and it's not going to return anything. So const input is equals to event dot target as HTML input element, and const time is equals to parse float and input dot value, and this dot music player dot seek to, and here we have to just pass the time. And after that, here get image URL and image URL over here, and then string type, and it also going to return a string value. And here if not image URL is not default URL, then return. If image URL does not exist, then we have to just return a default dash album dot png image. And if not image URL dot start with HTTP, right, HTTP, then also we are going to return the image URL, else we are going to return backtech dollar and then curly bracket, and then we have to import the environment. This one, first one we have to import, and then API URL, and just after closing the curly brackets before the backtick, then we have to write a file slash image slash, and here the dollar and the curly brackets, and here we have to just pass the image URL, and at the end put a semicolon and save this. And so our TS part is completed. Now let's verify this. Now let's fix some minor bug fixes over here. So here we have to just change or remove this particular not symbol from here, and here also we have HTTP, so there's a one T was extra over here, so just remove that. And if you move little bit up over here, so there's a get, so we have to just put a space over here. So get volume percentage, it will be like this, and we should be small, not capital. So just make this change and save this. Now our music player TS file is correct. Now we have to go to the CSS part. So let's copy the CSS from here and let's paste it over here in this particular file and save this. Now we have to go to the HTML part of this one, and now we have to write the logics related to the player. So let's remove this one, then write div class, and here we have to write player container, not this one, container, this one, and then animate slide up, this one, and after that star ng if the current song exists, then only this particular one is visible. And after that, here first we are going to write related to the left section what we have. So div class and player left section, and after that here in this particular one we have to on click, basically we have to call the extend player. So click, and here we have to write expand player. This method we have to call, and then we have style and cursor, and it should be a pointer. And after that close this one, and inside this particular div we have to write div class, and then we have to show the song thumbnail. So song thumbnail, and then animate skill in, and then close this one, and then image src, then current song.image URL, and then auth image we have to pass, and in alt we have to pass like current song dot title, and then close this. And after that, div class, here we have to pass like sound wave bar or overlay we have to pass, and then star ng. If playing is playing, then only we have to show this. And then div class, and here we have to sound wave bar we have to show, and then style dot animation dash duration is equals to, and over here parenthesis, and 0.5 plus volume into 0.3, and then space plus single quotes, and then we have to just pass s and single quotes close, and then close this particular div. Now I'm going to copy paste this particular line 4 more times, or sorry, not 3 more times, 1, 2 and 3. I'm just going to change the values over here. So here I'm going to change this to 0.6 and 0.7, and here 0.3 or 0.5 here, and just save this. So our this part is like related to this one, div thumbnail. This part is completed. Now the next one is to show the title name, and so for that we are going to create a div, and it should be inside the player left part, and div class song info, and then animate fed in, and then delay 200. We have to just pass this and close this one, and then we have h4 and class song dash title, and then close this one, and then current song dot title, and after that over here the next one is related to the artist. So here paragraph class, and then song artist, and then close this one, and current song dot artist. Okay, and after that the left part or the left part of the player is completed. Now this part is completed. Now we have to write the logics related to the controller. So we have to go outside of this particular div and inside this particular div. Okay, now we have to write here div class and player center, and then div class and control button, and animate fed in, and delay 300, and then close this one. And then we have to add multiple buttons over here one by one. Like first is related to shuffle, then a skip next, and then like play, pause buttons, and all those things we are going to write the logic one by one over here. So let me paste over here button and mat icon button, and then class here control button, and hover scale this one, and then class dot active is equals to is shuffle, and on click we have to call that method, which is toggle shuffle, and then we have title. We also want to show title, and here we have to just change this to shuffle, and then just close this one. Let me format this so that, or let's decrease the size of this one, and let me also do a format. And over here we have to just write here mat icon, and here just make it as shuffle. Save this. Now this button should be visible to the UI we don't have to check as of now. And after that, the button design and everything will be the remain same. So I'm just going to copy paste this one and paste it over here. Let me format this, and this matte icon button will be there. Control button hover scale, this is also correct. And over here we have to just change or add first like this dot active. We have to just remove this particular part, and over here we have to just add here disabled and equals, and not hash previous, and on click basically we have to call the method which is skip previous, and the title we have to just change this to previous, and the icon we have to change this to skip underscore vs icon. And after that, in the center we have to show the icon related to pause and play the song, right? So here I want to add a button and matte icon button, and here class play button, this one, and hover glow green, and hover scale, this one. And on click we have to call a method which is toggle play pause, this particular method, and then close this one. Inside this one we have to show a different icons on the basis of values. So mg this one, and a star ng if not is playing. In that case we have to show play underscore circle underscore filled. And if outside of this one, let's paste it over here and remove this not symbol, and if it is playing is true, in that case we have to just show pause and circle filled. So just save this. Now let's go to the UI. Let's see how the UI looks like. So let me click on this one, and I'm able to hear the music, right? I'm able to see that this is getting changed, and this icon is also getting changed. And if I click on it, it's also changing to pause option. And also here at this particular place, I'm able to see that animation, right? So this till this part we are able to achieve whatever we are expecting. Now let's get back to the VS Code. Now here we have to write the logics related to skip button or skip next button. So just after this one, here we have to just add the button matte, or we can do one thing, we have to just copy paste this one because this will be the exactly same of this. So just paste it over here. Let me format this, and over here we have to just change from has previous to next, and also skip previous. Here we have to just change to the next, and here also we have to change this to next, and here skip next we have to show this particular icon. Save this. Now after this, the next button is for repeat mode. So here we have to write matte icon button, and then class and control btn, and then hover scale, this one. And after that here we have to pass the class dot active and equals to repeat mode is not equals to off. In single quotes we have to add off, close this one. And after that, on click we have to call a method. So click, and this method we have to call as a toggle and repeat method. And after that we also need to show the title. So let me close this one first, and over here press enter, and then here we have to write title equals, and repeat mode is equals to for off, and single quotes closed, and after that question mark, then single quotes, and then repeat off, and after that here colon, and repeat mode is equals to all, and then question mark, and then repeat all, and after that colon, and then repeat 1. So on the basis of different values, it will just gonna switch it. So once if it is off, then repeat off, and then all these conditions, and it will check and it will show it. After that, inside this particular button, right, we also need to show the icon. So here I'm going to write here mat icon, close this one, and curly brackets, and over here get repeat icon method we have to call, and we are going to show it over here. So our this particular button is also, let me format this and save this, and this is inside this particular div, right, and we have to write the logics related to the progress bar outside of this one. So here outside of this div and inside the next div, we have to create here div class and progress bar container, close this one, and here span, and then class, and then time label, and over here we have to call format time, and then we have to pass the current time in this one, and after that here we have to create one more div, div class and progress wrapper, and inside this one we have to click method we have to pass, and inside this one we have to call a method which is on progress click, and in this one we have to pass the event, and close this one, and div class and progress background, and close this div. After that, the next div we have to create to show the progress and all. So div and class and progress fill, and then style dot width dot percent is equals to progress, and close this one. And after this, the next is input type range, and min is equals to 0, and max duration, after that value, and which is current time class and progress bar, this one, and then we have to pass the input. So input, and then we have to call the method on seek, and in this one basically we have to pass the event, so event, and then close this one. After that, whenever this div closed, right, after this div closed, and after that here we have to write a span class time label, and over here we have to show the duration or time, so format time, and here we have to just pass the duration, and save this. Let me format this one. Okay, and after that, this particular div is player center div is completed. Now we have to write the logic related to the right div. So just after this here we have to create div class and player right, and then animate fade in and delay 400, and after that close this one, and then we have to add a button. So basically whenever the volumes change from mute to like middle of the volume and different places. So there's three different icons are there. So as per that, I will show it. Button, class, and hover, scale, and on click, toggle it, toggle, mute, and close this one, and matte icon, and star ng if, and if not and is muted, and volume is greater than 0.5, then in that case I want to show that icon which is volume underscore up icon. Let me copy paste this one and paste it over here, and in this one the muted, this line will be the remain same, and after that volume, and it should be less than equals to 0.5, and volume is greater than 0. In that case, volume down icon I want to show, down, and the last one which is will be muted. So here I'm just going to remove this one, and after that over here I'm going to just check volume is equals to 0. In that case, I'm going to show the volume of icon, save this, so we don't have any error as of now. After this particular button added, now we have to also give options to users to increase or decrease the volume, right? So here I'm going to write a div class and volume wrapper, and after that here click, and then we have to call a method. So volume click, and in this one we have to just pass the event, so event, and then close this one. And after that, div class volume background, close this one div, and after that the next div class volume fill, and then style dot width dot percent is equals to volume percentage, and then close this one div. After that we have to show the input, so input type input, then type, and it should be a range type, and after range min is equals to 0, and max is equals to 1, and then a step we have to show, which is a step is like 0.01, and the value we have to pass, so value, and it should be volume, and class volume bar, and after that here input, and on volume change, and then we have to pass the event, so dollar event, and then close this one. Then let's format this. So everything looks good, so let's verify once. Okay, so just minor change here we have to do. So if you see this particular icon, right, so here we have to just, instead of and, we have to just or condition we have to add. So whenever it basically, if is it muted is true, or whenever this one is condition satisfied, then we are just going to show as a volume off. So now let's go to the UI, and let's log in. Let me copy paste the credentials over here and paste it over email and password. So let's go to the my uploads, and let me click on this song. So let me decrease the volume first, and here you can see whenever I'm changing the volume, right, you see the icons are getting changed. So whenever this is like position as 0, it is muted, and I increase it little bit, so you can see this is a volume down. If I make it as max, it is volume up, so it means this one is working as expected. Now let me decrease the volume so that it should not make noise and you are able to hear me properly. right? So let's put it over here and let's try to play this one. And when I play over here, you can see that animation, right? And this is working as expected. And also you can see the name of the song. You can see this one artist name. And whenever I click on this one, I'm able to change. This icon is also getting changed. And also this particular progress bar is also changing. So let's click on over here and you can see the audio is also able to move from here to here without any issues, right? If I click on over here, it's also working as expected. Here you can see the duration, here you can see the whatever the time we are currently. This is also working as expected. So right now we are in the my upload section, right? And we are playing this song. So in this songs, if you remember, if I go to the layout and not layout, my uploads, in the my uploads we have a method. Okay, this method. In this one we are just passing the current song. We don't want like a queue, so that's why it's only going to play only one song on which whatever you are going to click on it. Okay, so it's not a mistake, it is the by functionality we have implemented in that way. But other places like on the playlist or like on the home page, everywhere we have implemented the queue way. Okay, so this is only to related to the my upload, so that's why we have implemented that way. So this repeats and all those things we are going to try in upcoming video, like how this works and how shuffles and all those things works or not. So this is all about like my player part of this project. I hope you guys like this video, so please hit like and subscribe my channel. Thank you.